Hello and welcome. This is FIDE Master and FIDE Trainer Vedant Goswami. Today we are going to see a game of Magnus Carlsen, one of the greatest players ever. I really enjoy seeing his games, and sometimes you are baffled and surprised by the simplicity of his games. He seems to make most natural moves, and suddenly, out of nowhere, the opponent is lost. So we'll see one such game today in which in 2004 he was playing in one of the world's strongest tournaments, the Aeroflot Open in Moscow, against one of the top Russian grandmasters, Sergei Dolmatov. Now, as we go through the game, again, I'll stress on the very basic things he does right and seemingly natural moves that put the opponent's position into despair very soon. So let us start. So Carlsen starts with NF3 and Dolmatov, a long-time proponent of the Dutch defense, goes F5. Now F5 is inherently a slightly flawed opening, not favored by many top players because it moves the pawn in front of the king and basically compromises the safety of the king for a very long time. Carlsen plays d3, d6, and e4. So immediately challenging the pawn on f5, e5, nc3, and nc6. Now, the next few moves are very interesting till now. The game is very simple. White is developing his pieces, black is developing his pieces, and the only difference being, if you see, is the relative safe position of the white king. If you just compare how safe each king is, you will see white king is a bit more safe because for black, the protection of the king has moved a little bit up with the pawn on f5. So seeing that, Carlsen chooses a continuation which tries to open the position in the center, which basically means remove the pawns so that the pieces can come into direct contact with each other and the unsafe position of the black king can be exploited. So he takes e into f5, bishop into f5, and d4, a very important move, a very interesting move, challenging the black pawn on e5 in the center and also opening up the center, which basically means removing the pawns. So knight into d4, knight into d4, pawn takes, and queen d4. Now, if we see just right out of the opening, white has some sort of advantage because, again, one of the most important factors in the position assessment is the position of the kings. Okay, so with lesser protection, black king will be in more danger in the future. So let us see how this goes. nf6, and white plays very natural bishop c4, which is a very nice developing move also, and also prevents black from developing in the future by castling kingside. So it's preventing opponent's natural moves, which is castling, and also developing his own. So very powerful move. c6 and bishop g5. A very important thing to note that how quickly and simply Carlsen is developing. A lot of times I see a problem with games of beginner students, even who have up to 3 to 4 years of experience, just keep playing with the same pieces. But that is not good because, and I keep giving this example that imagine you are the commander of an army and it is your duty to make every soldier fight. Every piece should be developed and should be a part of the fight. You cannot just have one piece fight the whole opponent army. That won't be fair and that won't be good also. So imagine that this is the example which I give, and so it is the basic job of a chess player as the commander of his army to make sure every piece is ready for the fight. Very important. So black plays here b5, bishop b3, bishop e7. Now, though black would want to play this, right? Because it blocks the diagonal and, black can castle. But the uh, problem is that as soon as you play the pawn here, queen comes and the bishop is lost. Right now, maybe not so, because queen e7 is a defense. So let us say bishop e7. So maybe d5 is a move right now. So let us say d5. If I play this, hoping to pick up the bishop, black can prevent by creating this pin, and maybe white can just do this and black can have a respectable position. So this is a continuation. And so what happened in the game was bishop e7 and Carlsen quickly castles. And again, d5 is a move which should be played. But again, because of the compromise position of the black king, there are a lot of problems. So let us say, again, white can continue with rook h2 e1, castles, and queen e5 with a double attack. So lot of problems for black, and particularly they can be exploited because of the better development. So if you see, white is so well developed, every piece is in the center, every piece is developed. So that is one of the most important factors in this game. So queen d7, Dolmatov plays queen d7 and rook h2 e1, a very important move, a very simple move, but a very critical move, completing development. This is the most important factor. And this is how great players get their opportunities. They do small thing right, and other things follow on their own. So king d8, black tries to get out of the pin, and already because of, now if you see, white has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 pieces. All of his pieces are ready to participate in the attack. While if you see these two pieces, the rooks, they are still not a part of the game. Okay, so white has numerical superiority in the center of the board where the fight is happening. So to exploit that, Carlsen goes rook into e7, queen into e7, and queen f4. Now, the f5 bishop is hanging, and the attack on d6 is also there. Very few moves to find for black. Very difficult position. Bishop d7. And again, white increases pressure with any 4. Okay, so the idea is, if black takes this, I will take bishop f6, I intermezzo, let us say this happens. Take this, simple destroying the defender, pawn takes, and get the queen. Okay, so because of tactics, and tactics usually helps the side which is better developed. So in this case, we see lot of black moves which call themselves to be played are not possible because of the better development of the white pieces. So e4 and d5, knight takes, of course, pawn cannot take it, otherwise bishop f6 and the queen is lost. Black tries for counter attack with h6, some defense. Bishop h4, g5. Now it looks like white is being pushed back, and black can get a decent position. But Carlsen plays the very powerful queen d4, leaving the bishop to be captured, because after the capture of the bishop, knight d5 wins the game immediately, because pawn captures and queen into h3. Now at this position, Dolmatov chooses to resign. But I get this question a lot of times and often, that students will ask, see, opponent still has, black still has equal pieces. Why should he resign? Maybe he can win also. But that is not possible. That can happen sometimes at a very beginner level, but at a level where the world champions are playing, grandmasters are playing, usually opponents choose to resign in hopeless positions, saving their time, energy, and motivation for the next game. So continuing this position against Carlsen would be an absolute harmless exercise, absolutely waste of time, and white can just harvest everything. So white has a brilliant position with 2 extra pawns, and a lot of black pawns are just falling. So a very interesting game, a very simple game, and shows the power of simplicity, shows the power of simple development, of what you can achieve if you can bring all your pieces into the game. So this is one of the most beautiful things and the most simple things we can learn from the games of Carlsen and also other grandmasters. I hope you enjoyed the game, and I hope after this game you'll develop your pieces with more energy, little faster, and you will see you start getting better positions. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Do subscribe if you enjoyed this lesson and look out for more. Take care and goodbye.